coming into camp, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things I really like about your snap. You're doing a lot of things right. Fundamentals are pretty sound. You throw a good football, but a few things we can improve on. First of all, you're slightly frog squatting. And what that means to us is that you've got the shoulders slightly higher than the hips, maybe a little deep on the back end, and your arrow point, where the upper and lower body meet, where we try to converge all the energies and direct it to the target, is pointed slightly into the ground. So in all likelihood, you may throw it a little low, or you might be trying to aim the arrow while you're in motion, which is going to be far less accurate than beginning from a stable base where you're already pointed at your target. Okay? That's number one. Number two, just so you know, we're filming right here. Okay, thanks. You're a little bit flat-footed, okay? Being flat-footed is real common when you frog squat, but it's not going to win any battles on the football field. First of all, your leg drive could be pretty much just vertical because it's like doing a hack squat, when we need it off the balls of the feet, back into the hips a bit and towards your target to capture lower body motion energy and accelerate the football with that, as well as what the upper body's doing, okay? And a little stiff-armed, a little tense in the arms. We saw two reasons that we felt that way. One was that you can just see the elbows are kind of locked out. The other is that you can see the shoulders were kind of bowed downward as you're reaching out for the ball. Also very common with a frog squat. Here's the good news. Real easy fixes here, okay? The last thing I do want to observe, in film at lunch today, we did discover that when you started the snap, there's kind of a slow half a second where you dip the rear and then start. Dead giveaway to an observant defense. So we need to get you set in the right place first of all, so you can simply unwind and accelerate the ball through, okay? Here's the fix. We need to unbend the knees a little bit and lower the front end just a little bit so we take a little of the tension out. That's about it. And in the process of doing that, of course, we're going to make sure the knees are directly over the toes for optimal balance. First thing we're going to do is three-step you. You ready? Okay, I'm going to pull you forward. Gets knee bend to 90 degrees or less, straightens the back and extends the arms. I'm going to raise you up, maximizing operating room under the torso. Then I'm going to push you back into the hips towards your target till the heels touch the ground, knees are over the toes, you're solid on your feet. Feel comfortable? You look a lot more relaxed. How's it feel? Throw it hard. That's awesome. How'd it feel? Okay. Perfect setup will lead to a perfect snap because everything goes where it should. Down the spine towards your target, up through the hips, converging in an arrow point, capturing all motion energy and channeling it down the line to the target. Now you're right in front of the camera. Let me just say one other thing. Please get out of this habit, Taylor, of popping up at the waist at the finish, because when you do that, number one, you make your center of gravity as high as you can. Not a good formula. And number two, there's a real tendency for that center of gravity, the belt bed, to roll behind the hips and leave you on your heels and off balance. So when we finish that snap, either hold the finish or break it down into a position from which you can block or cover, and you're in a good football, fundamentally sound football, two-point stance kind of position, okay? Let's do that one more time. Okay, so coming in, you were slightly frog squatted, kind of far from the ball on the front. I'm exaggerating it so you get an idea, kind of flat-footed. We unbent the knees, okay? Moved you a little forward and lowered the front end ever so much. We want to be pretty horizontal as a blind snapper, shoulders to hips. That should feel really good. Now break it down when you finish the snap. Very solid. Feel good? Stability and control. Balance, leverage, mobility, power. That's everything football is about to me. I want your feet up under you and all that. Now, big shoulders. You're a growing guy. You might be on the verge of being too narrow. Probably you'll tell once you get the pads on. If you feel a little constricted, you could widen that stance out a little and or take the toes out slightly, get the knees pointed out of the way. When you sit into the stance, shove the knees over the toes to maximize space between the legs without getting your feet too wide. Right now it looks fine. Once you get pads on, especially if you're wearing lineman pads, it may feel a little constricted. Let's do one more ball and we'll wrap up your one-on-one. Okay, so we unbent the knees a little, got the knees over the toes, lowered the front just a little, and actually brought you a little closer to the ball. Either one of those will help you relax that front end a touch. Now you're not pushing down on the ball here with this hand, are you? Okay, good. Good hard throw and break it down. Excellent. Okay. You're not frog squatting anymore. It looks real solid. You're getting better balance, knees over the toes. We've introduced a little relaxation to the arms. You look solid. Good hard two-handed throw. Excellent snapping, Mr. Flowers. Okay, again, we got the knees over the toes for balance. We quit frog squatting. We introduced a little relaxation on the front end so you're smoother and quicker on the take-through. You look excellent. Good hard two-handed throw. Okay, that is outstanding.